Welcome to the podcast. This show is about the Real Estate Network Training Society community, also known as Rents. We're a diverse group of investors and our members range from beginners to seasoned pros. Rents is the only charity real estate education company in Canada, and we're here to help you on your journey to financial freedom using real estate. My name is Sam Perrin. I'm the president of Rents, and I'll be your host today. I'm a full-time real estate investor who's retired as a police officer at the age of 30 to spend more time with my family. Now I help people create passive income through real estate. As you'll see from the many stories shared on this show, there's lots of roads that will take you to your goals. When you hear the diverse experiences of our guests, I bet that you'll find a path that mirrors your own, and this will inspire you to take the actions needed to build your wealth too. When you become financially free, you're better positioned to make the world a better place. And that's what we're all about. You can send any questions or suggestions for the show to info@rents.website. That's info@rents.website. Enjoy the show. My guest today is Connor Shelton. I first met Connor back at the old meeting space for the group before it became Rents. So Connor is one of the few realtors that I've met who really understands real estate and investing. And he has a firm grasp on the economic fundamentals and stats that are so important for us as real estate investors to make informed decisions on where and when to buy and, when it might be prudent to sell. Of course, personal circumstances play a factor in those decisions, but it's just great to work with a realtor like Connor who can provide the stats that you need to make an informed decision. So, really looking forward to today's interview, Connor, and getting to know you a bit more, and hopefully, I know our listeners are going to get a lot of value out of speaking with you. So. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really excited to get on the podcast. I know I speak at the meetings monthly, but kind of better to go in depth here and excited to share with everyone.
Yeah, really looking forward to what we're going to chat about here. So maybe to start off, for people who don't know you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so kind of right out of high school, I always had the idea that I was going to be a businessman, or I was going to own a business, or be involved in business. I always, I guess I was always just kind of attracted to money, to be honest. So my parents kind of have more of a frugal spending habits, and they're very economical. So and then I'm also am too, but having that awareness when I was young that money is always kind of something you should keep and you shouldn't go spend a lot. I kind of wanted to have an abundance of money so I could spend more. So out of high school, I still didn't really know where I was going to go. I had a couple little small kind of business things I did in high school. I tried to start up a little hoodie company and clothing companies and things like that.
Oh, no kidding.
And they didn't take off, obviously, but it was a good experience. So then I went to TRU for a bachelor's of business. And I was working full time while I was going to school because I had car payment. I had things I had to keep up on. I had a couple different management jobs. I managed a self-storage business. I was assistant manager there for a bit, which was the boringest job I've ever had. But,
how many units?
It was over 300 units. It's quite a big complex, but people just it's a great business to get into because people literally drop their stuff off, forget about it, and auto debit payments every so I quickly saw how much he was making and how much I was getting paid, so aspiration to own one of those one day for sure. So I had a small management job there, and then I was actually a yard manager at Warner Rentals while I was finishing my real estate license, and I actually worked part-time when I first started in real estate at Warner and Century 21 when I started. And quickly realized that if I wanted to really make real estate my career, I kind of had to put all my focus there and just go for it. So fortunately, Ralph from Warner Rentals, the owner there, he's a great guy, and he gave me the option of kind of staying with a cushy job, probably something leading up to a company truck and just an inside sales job there, or I could, because he knew I was going for my real estate license, or he said, or you can go out and then you have this to fall back on. So it was nice to have that cushion going out, knowing that, hey, if this doesn't work out, I do have this job to fall back on, even though it's not something I went to school for, but it was something I liked doing. I've always loved equipment. So I actually, I said, yeah, you know what, you're right. I'm going to go and do it. So I was young still. I was still living at my parents' house, and I continued my schooling. My parents said, well, if you're still taking university courses or college courses, you can live at home for free. And I never wanted to rent, so I'm very proud to say that me and the fiance bought our first house without ever renting. Went from the parents' basement right into our first rental with the basement suite. Now we both pay $500 each, less than we could have rented a place for, and it's probably appreciated now more. In the 2 years we've been there, up over $400,000. So it's been one of the best investments we've made, and looking for the next property. But so I got pushed out from Warner, or I got told to kind of spread my wings and fly. Went to Remax because I realized, hey, if I'm gonna really take a shot at this, I need to be where all the other agents are that are the movers and shakers, and they're doing 100 or more deals. Because at the time I was only doing 12, right? So I needed to pump it up, and that's been one of the best decisions I've made as well. Lots of kind of coaching here as well, and then I've also done other coaching to kind of improve myself and my career, and then still actually just finishing up. I finished up my diploma in urban land economics, so I got a specialization with property development. So really looking to kind of hone in on those skills, but still building the residential sales side of my business as well, and dabbling in commercial. But I got the rental property management license, strata management license, and then in about a couple months here, I'll have finished advanced studies in real estate certificate. So bunch of papers to throw on the wall.
Yeah, very cool. So you're you come from a place of deep and deepening knowledge. Lots of great courses there. I find it really cool how you decided to come to this brokerage that you're at here at Remax. That's where all the other I guess you could say high players, the people with the bigger numbers are, and surrounding yourself with the people who you want to become is a really good way of getting there. So very wise move. So I'm going to go a little bit off some of the prepared questions we had, just because when something like this interesting comes up, I want to just dive a little bit deeper into it. Yeah. So, Connor, you're a self-improvement junkie like me. I mean, we've listened to a lot of the same guys, and I'm looking at the inspirational quotes on your wall here, and it's really cool just to be in your office and see how it's set up. So, can you maybe comment on how important do you find mindset is in the results in your business?
Especially in this business, even maybe more so in, like, say, a car sales business, but that's kind of where I got kind of a little bit of guidance. My father-in-law, future be father-in-law's in the car business, so you know how up and down that business can be, and same with real estate. And really, if your mindset's not right, you're not coming into work every day with the attitude of helping people, and not going in strictly just for the mindset of profits, of actually the intention of helping people and making their lives better. And actually, it's funny because you mentioned the quote there. That's one of the quotes, and if you guys haven't read the book, The Go-Giver, that's really what changed my business, and I just like bringing value, and giving back to the community is always something I've been pretty big on. So whether that's through rugby or Rotary or
movie nights or whatever,
anything I can do to help. Because one of the laws is the law of receptivity. So the key to giving is to stay open to receiving. And the key of value. So your time is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment, and that's one of the ones that really reflected to me. And I've got all this knowledge, but that's how I really saw that I could give people more value in the stats I'm providing, everything I'm providing. The whole genuine service is just such a greater experience, and that's why like my listing cost is a little bit more than some agents, but there's so much more value there. There's professional pictures, there's video, there's so much more value there that I think is just more to the client. And that's really how I haven't really spent too much more in the marketing expense of my business. I've really just focused on giving more value and that's just how people hear about me is probably 95% of my business, 90% is referral based, and it's really it's really nice to just, when you maybe don't know where a deal is going to come from, that where it comes from. That's your referral base is always there.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, I can speak from firsthand experience. The last house that I sold, you sold it for me, and that was an absolutely great experience.
Yeah.
Even though I know how busy you are, still to get that level of service was pretty cool. So we talked briefly about your family. Can you talk a bit more about that?
Yeah.
I forget. Do you have any siblings?
No siblings, only child. So yeah, I don't know that. Probably there's some good things with that and bad for sure. But
so mom and dad, and now in-laws, right?
yeah, mom and dad are recently split, so trying to navigate that relationship. And then yeah, the in-laws, it's great. Our whole family gets together. We've done a whole trip to Mexico together. It was actually only 2 years into us dating, and we all went to Mexico. So we're all really close, and we all get along great. So it's been yeah, it's great. So me, mom, dad, the in-laws, Brianna, my fiance, we get married next year. Yeah. So yeah.
Do you and Brianna have a date?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, August 25th of 2018. So
that's that's a great date. We were married on August.
Really?
Marcy and I were married on August 25th. So yeah, good choice.
We'll have a group anniversary party.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Where are you gonna have the wedding?
So it's called Notch Hill Rustic Weddings. It's a really cool barn out in above Sorrento, and we're pretty laid back. We're not religious, so a little bit different views than lots of people, but yeah, we're pretty laid back. It's just going to be really in a farmer's field, and then this really cool barn. It's all tongue and groove, and big speakers in there, so it's really just going to be beer pong, burgers, and get married. So
sounds like a great time.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it, but gotta make some money on real estate so I can pay for it.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably really interesting to our listeners who are real estate investors to hear a bit about the business. So we'll dive into that a little bit. I know as a realtor, it's and we were talking to another realtor about this just not that long ago, how it is the best paid hard work that potentially that you could get, but most realtors are actually just maybe just barely scraping by,
right.
But if you're willing to work super hard, you could do pretty good. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and that side of the business and how you're building your business, and then we'll talk about how maybe how investor clients are difficult, and and we'll get into that. But
yeah, so I guess we got talking after the meeting there the other weekend. It's a demanding career because you really do need to be. Some people work afternoons, so you're working with them in the morning. Some people work days, so you're working with them at night. Other people work night shifts, so you're just trying to fit them in, right? So you really do have to be kind of available whenever there's demand.
24/7, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's something you have to manage. That's obviously why a lot of realtors go for the team approach. But sometimes the ball gets dropped there. So me personally, right now, I'm just a one agent with an assistant show. So I find the clients I have right now, I can manage everybody. I can manage the buyers, the sellers, and yeah, lots of agents. The one thing people need to know in real estate is in the timeline of how the career's developed is near when it first started. When you were a realtor, you had to be a full-time realtor. You couldn't be a taxi driver and a real estate agent. And as time went on, there was people that had multiple careers, and maybe they just did on side, or they owned a business and they wanted to be a realtor. So then they took that away, which, don't get me wrong, there's lots of great agents in the business, but if it was me personally selling my house, I want someone that's involved in real estate every day. I'm
totally immersed. Yeah, immersed in the market all the time.
And maybe if you're looking for that discount realtor, you can do that, but you're better off probably just selling your home on Kijiji.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're a full-time realtor and you're doing a lot of transactions, you're very experienced in negotiations.
Yeah.
You know how to push. If you got a listing, you know how to push for that higher price because you know exactly where the market's going, and you're reviewing stuff and seeing stuff all the time. So, yeah, I can totally see the value of working with somebody full time who's got a good track record. So,
and yeah, lots of people think it is just price too, but we got to remember there's dates that can be really important to people. You don't want to end up in a hotel for a month. So there's lots of things to juggle and things we can leverage to negotiate. And I think I went through with you my listing presentation and talking about negotiations start as a seller once they start looking at, as a buyer looking, but as a seller when you're selling a house, they really start once that person's looked at your listing online and once you've drawn them in, and once they step through the door, that's when the negotiation starts, because they're going to be picking out those electrical outlets aren't GFCI. They're going to be looking at every little thing in the house and seeing how they can get money off of it, and either disclosing and pricing from the start or fixing and remedying those things is something we can do to get most value for the home, right? So
I've heard two trains of thought, because you do a wonderful listing package for your clients with professional videos and photos, and I was really impressed with that product. I've worked with and seen other realtors who say, they kind of take the opposite approach. Let's put a bunch of crappy photos up, and that'll then they won't be able to tell what's there, and they'll have to come in for the open house, and then we got them.
Right.
So I mean, do you know any stats or data to say kind of which approach is? I
don't have any stats for pictures, but you know what I do. 90% of home buyers now look at homes online, and we have to know everybody nowadays is busy. Nobody wants to waste their time, and buyers get really frustrated looking at lots of homes, and you can quickly get glanced over if the listing process isn't handled right. So in our market, at least how it happens is when the realtor's office puts in the listing to the real estate association, the data gets entered manually, and then it gets put on the MLS system. So in our back end, all the realtors can see it, but then everybody's set up on what's called in our area is applying private client services drip campaign. So it will automatically send you the listing. So one thing that I do a little bit differently than other agents is I'm going to put up, I'm going to be waiting and putting up the pictures right when it gets active on PCS, because we want to draw in the buyers right away. So you can easily get looked over if your write-up's not right and there's no pictures, right? Yeah. That client's going to look at PCS. Maybe it's not the area they want, but it could be still the house they want. So say they go and look at it, there's just a write-up, there's no pictures or crappy pictures. In that site, they can put it in the trash bin, basically, right? Yeah. They're going to look right over it, and then maybe you've missed that whole buyer, where the real point is we want to drive them all in, as many buyers as we can, so we can ultimately drive up the selling price. So it's a tricky process. I see what you're saying with the crappy pictures, but ultimately we need to get the buyer into the property, and I don't think you're gonna draw in buyers by doing that.
No, I think that's a really good response, and I happen to agree. I just think of my own buying behavior. I research everything online before, and I usually make my purchase decision before I go and see something. And that's how it works with vehicle, with cars, with phones, with I know everything about the brand new Apple phone that just came out, right? Same here. So I'm waiting to be able to order it. In November, or whatever the release date is going to be. So. And I think that that's something that maybe a lot of people have missed in the last 10 years of the internet blowing up and being so common and in the palm of our hands, is people are shopping. So the more you can give them, the faster and the easier the information you can give them, I think you can influence that buying decision, make them fall in love with the product before they even see it, right? So, I think that's really wise words. So, and this is why it's so important to choose the right realtor if you're selling your house. You can comment on this if you want. I haven't really prepared you, but as a realtor, as growing your business, you want to serve your clients as best as you can. But you're kind of, I've observed, and I think that's why it's so hard to be a realtor. Not only is your phone blowing up all the time, and people expect you to answer them right away, but the one thing that you're trying to do is you want to serve all of your clients as best as possible. So how do you tell some clients let's say your buyers, hey guys, I'm going to get you a great deal, the best deal possible, right?
Right.
The lowest price possible, maybe. But we both know that a good deal doesn't necessarily involve just the price. Terms, a lot of the time, is just as important or more important. Right. But so you're gonna tell your buyer, hey, I'm gonna get you the best price, but you're also gonna tell people who are selling their house, hey, I'm gonna get you the highest price and the best deal for you too. So how do you balance that? I mean, I know there's been a change in the legislation, I think, where your realtors aren't going to be allowed in the near future to represent both sides of the bargaining table. Is that right?
Right, except in smaller rural markets, because in some, say even Barrier, there's 3 realtors in Barrier, so it's bound to happen where you're going to represent both sides. But
is Kamloops a smaller market or no?
In my career, I maybe do in the past. This is my 5th year. I've only done 2 transactions that were double ending. Yeah. And personally, I don't like it because you are so limited in
what you can share,
what you can do. So when you enter that agency, it's called a limited dual agency agreement. Yeah. You can only give certain information to both clients. So what I personally do, because I really don't like the situation, the client I've been working with first, or if it's my listing, I will refer the buyer out because I feel like that's best value for them. Yeah. Because I can't give them.
You can't give. Yeah, this is exactly what I was kind of getting to. Okay. Well, you know what? That's really great to hear, and I guarantee you that's going to give you longevity in your business, right? Is where you're deliberately making sure that you are not in conflict. Yeah. Yeah, and you've been doing that for
Yeah, since I started, and I've done lots of coaching too, and my coach Eric Potato, he helped me lots in the early years there, because I was a young kid that started in the business that didn't even own a house, and my father-in-law always made fun of me. How can you sell houses when you don't even own one? So
and that's the struggle when you're first starting out, right?
So yeah, once I bought the house, and then I was managing a tenant, and then was thinking about, hey, if I had to sell this house, what would I do? And going through the whole diploma in urban land economics program really helped as well. But I've been a big fan of coaching, and going back to the self-improvement question earlier, I've always been since I started at Remax, I've always been doing lots of coaching. So I try to I always have a coach now, and I try to read lots of books. Now it's a little bit more work to kind of fit that in the schedule, but I think it's key to improving yourself and your business.
I hear you. Yeah, I have a lot of respect for you guys in this business. You need a thick skin to be able to succeed at it. So Connor, investors are notoriously hard to work with, and I know that realtors don't particularly like investor clients. I know that we are very difficult to have as clients. We can be fickle. We're not necessarily loyal, and I know loyalty is very important to realtors, especially when your income is uncertain. So how can we make it easier for you to work with us and ultimately meet our goals of getting first in line at the best deals? So how can we make it easier for you to work with us? What can we do?
Right. So I think it's definitely a two-way relationship. You have to find the right realtor, and it is okay to network with other realtors, because that is how you get a ear to the ground on what are the best deals. Because sometimes there's just not a spread in someone selling. If they're upside down in a mortgage rate, there just isn't money if it's a trash place and they can't pay commission. So obviously we can't even do the deal if there's no money in it. But like I said, it's a two-way street where I think realtors need to really be honest and manage the expectations. So really being honest in, this is the pricing, and for the investor to also know that other realtors, everybody's trying to do a great job, but some people might not be fully truthful with what they're trying to get. They might be more buying that listing of, well, I think I can get 10,000, 20,000 more, right? So really having trust in who you're using, having that network of people that you do trust, because ultimately to get you that best selling price or that best purchase price, you need someone that is really going to be not looking at, like we talked about before, as a transactional process, but really that lifelong friendship, and also business relationship where you need to be buying for the right price and you need to be selling for the right price, and being truthful with them on what the expectations are. This is what's happening in the market. This is what I truthfully think is going to happen, or this is what I think we can get. So I do think it is a two-way street there with the realtor and the investor. For me, I like working with them because I kind of look at every deal with, okay, if I was buying this deal or if my family was buying this deal, I would most likely do the same due diligence and little things, how old's the roof, things like that. But investors have lots of questions about, say, rezoning or laneway houses, or there's always those questions, and I kind of always approach it with the open mindset of, again, providing more value to the client. So even though the question might seem silly or unnecessary to me,
it's important to them.
Yeah. And really just, so I think you do need to find the right realtor for you and who that is. Investor, I think investors should also always have kind of an open ear to advice, because a lot of investors think they've been around the block and they know everything, but there's always something new to learn and or to consider. So
and even if you're an experienced investor, I know myself, when you have skin in the game, and then your judgment becomes clouded. So you got to really trust the person that you hire. I know when I was selling that place, and the buyer was wanting something, and I of course I'm wanting the highest price possible, but you're able to make sure that all of our needs are met as far as terms and price are. So it's really nice to have kind of an impartial person there to do the negotiation. As an investor, one of the things that we talk about, or one of the things that we say is, hey, no single realtor is going to know what's going on with every property in your town or city. So you got to talk to them all. So what would you say? What would you say to somebody who says that? Oh, I can't be loyal with one person. I got to talk to everybody because I want to know when a deal comes, so I can get a deal.
Right. And I think, a lot of realtors are they're looking to work with an investor that is going to be loyal in every transaction. But I think it's just, honestly, even in Kamloops, there's 260 realtors in the area here. So unless you're networking and your realtor knows all the other agents and know that they're going to bring the deal, but all other realtors are working with clients that are looking for that deal as well. So I think you do have to work with other realtors, but what it really comes down to is when you're selling, hopefully they'll have that relationship where you can be on the selling.
Yeah. So it is a valid point, but I mean, honestly, that's why it's important to work with a full-time realtor, because they're more likely to know all the other agents and to keep a closer eye on the inventory that's coming in. I mean, we talked a bit about how hard you work, and you touched on this, and you've been pushing hard. It's been a while. What's your driving reason? Why do you work so hard?
Right. For me, it's definitely my family. Like, I love my family, and I want to be able to spend time with them. And for me, I want to work as hard as I can right now. So when I do have a family,
you're talking about kids or
kids? Yeah. In the next, after the wedding, we're gonna work on that. So I really want to be able to spend as much time as I can with them. So I really think investing in real estate and creating passive income. And for me, also what I'd like to do, because in at least our culture, there's not really that sense of creating multi-generational wealth, and it's a concept I discovered, and I really I like, why don't grandparents and your parents, why in our society is it you kind of make your money, you work your 9-to-5 job, you get your pension, your RSPs, and you spend it all and you die. To me, it didn't make sense. Why not create something and make a better life for your whole family? And I actually had it's a vision I've still kind of thought about, but having kind of a family booklet on, I guess, why I thought about creating multi-generational wealth.
Yeah, it's interesting what you say about multi-generational wealth, because I forget where I read it. Maybe it was The Millionaire Next Door or something like that, where
one of the ones up there.
Oh yeah, one of the ones up on your bookshelf here. Yeah.
The Wealthy Barber, or I can't remember which one that is.
Yeah. Oh, there's one by Tucker Max. So the thing that I wanted to just talk about is, it's funny how there'll be a family that creates a bunch of assets, and then you look down the line and how many generations does it actually last before it's frittered away. So the flip side I've heard as well, it's just going to get wasted in the next couple generations. So I may as well spend it all on me.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, but I think if you can spend time with your kids when they're small and teaching them about money and preserving money and creating those opportunities, those good opportunities for them.
Yeah, one of the areas that kind of got me thinking about that was I think you've heard from him as well, as Gary Vaynerchuk.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I really like him. He's kind of in your face, but he likes to ramble, but it's similar to me. But one of the things he always talks about is legacy, and really, when you look at it, like I just turned 25, and I guess I had that kind of quarter life crisis of, holy crap, I'm 25.
I like that quarter life crisis.
And really, like, I was kind of panicking, like, I'm 25, but all my time spent on working, and where is this going for? Because really, the time we do have is so precious. And one of the things Gary was talking about was legacy, and that's what really got me thinking about the multi-generational wealth. Is I want my great grandkids to think, hey, Connor Shelton was a good guy, and he set us up, and we have the opportunities we do because of him. So that's I don't know. I think that's I'd like to kind of, I don't know if it's an egotistical thing, but that's
I think this is key. And the type of conversation that you want to have when you're, selecting a realtor is just the way that you think. Because I don't know how many realtors I've interviewed, to try and work with on a consistent basis, and they are in the transactional mode. This is, this is a job, and I'm going to be transacting real estate. That's how I make my money. It's how people in construction make their money. But it sounds like, and I know it's true, you've really figured it out that ownership is key to long-term wealth, owning the property. Mm-hmm. I remember one guy I was interviewing, one realtor I was interviewing, and I asked him, do you think this is a good deal? Would you invest in this deal? Mm-hmm. And he said, no, I'm near retirement, or whatever it was. And I said, oh, okay, well, would you advise your kids to invest in this deal, right? And he danced around that too, because he honestly didn't know. He had no idea. He didn't know how to analyze a deal or anything like that. But I know if I were to have that conversation with you, because of your mindset, and you have a basement suite, and the tenant pays most of the stuff, and you guys are living for way less than what it would cost to rent, basically.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Much. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that you have this figured out, right? So it's and I just want to say that that's exceedingly rare for somebody. I don't know how many people in Canvas, or I haven't met every realtor, but of the ones that I've met, I'd say you're one of the few that really haven't figured out for real estate investors. So can you tell us a little bit more about that aha moment where you realized the power of real estate investing, and maybe walk through the process that you went through to realize that real estate investing was for you? Most people don't want to buy a house with a suite, right?
Right. I guess my aha moment was when we were looking at real estate, and me and Brianna were going to move out, and we're looking at, okay, we can buy a condo, but it's going to be, okay, say, when we started looking, we were looking in the 350s. So we were able to say, okay, we could buy a cheaper condo, say 250, 300, but it's going to be 2-3 bedrooms, plus strata fees, no yard, yada yada. Okay, so we can buy a half duplex, and then I got looking at it, and I'd always just said it was like suites are the way to go, especially with the rising costs of real estate, inflation. It was just, and ultimately for me, I've always liked to work smarter, not harder. So that's where I saw, hey, this is where I can kind of stabilize my income, especially being a realtor and not having a steady cash flow. That's where even more so the basement suites and the suited houses have kind of been the route I wanted to go, because I realized, okay, once you're living for free, everything after that is just gravy, right? So then looking forward to, okay, we're gonna have kids. That's so I guess once we started looking for houses, that's where we really cemented, okay, this is, and actually it was what you recommended to me, is plan out as far as you can. So I do have the 5 and 10 year plan, and you can see that things are slowly getting
there it is, right there,
checked off. My office is really kind of the hub of where my life is, because
you do a lot of brainstorming here, I can see.
I'm locked up in here a lot when I'm not showing houses. So I'm either studying or I'm planning out the future. So I got the 5-year plan there, and then I got the goals before 30 and 10-year plan tucked away. So
goals before 30.
Goals before 30.
Where is that the picture? Oh, you have a vision board right on the wall here too.
Right there,
yeah. So since making your move to this office, you went from 12 deals to.
So this year I'm on track for 43.
Nice.
So I've basically, since I started the business, every year I've increased my business by about 50%.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Or at least that's what I shoot for.
Yeah.
This year I kind of set a bigger target. It's been with my new coach and in the program they have, just always learning and whatever, shoot for those big targets, and if you don't hit them, you're still better off than being conservative.
So I really wanted to dive into a question here. We are running out of time, so I'm gonna we'll just go through a couple of things. I'll ask the last question, and then we'll have to go. You got to coach rugby soon too.
Oh yeah, I'm ready to go in the shorts.
Yeah, you're a busy guy. We got to spend more time together, but I think we could talk for hours. So let's talk about this. Connor, what are you afraid of, and how do you overcome those fears?
So I did, actually with Eric, I did a self-awareness course, which has been probably the best money I've ever spent. It's $400. It's with a monk here in town, and it's really about being aware about your thoughts. And that's where there was a quote in there in the course he was teaching, and it was, I think, a 6-week, it was called a Men's Mastery course. And there's a quote in there that really helped me get over anxiety, I guess, what it was, because you do face anxiety in this business of, okay, I gotta make this phone call, what if they say no? And with the other coach I went through, your mind always goes to the worst possible scenario. So even if they tell you to door knock or call this client, well, if they say no, then I won't make any money. If I don't make any money, I'll be living on the street, and then I'll die. That's what he always goes to. Your mind goes right to that. So really, whenever you have anxiety, you just got to do it. Don't even think about it. And think about, well, what if it goes right? What if this client makes me $1 million this year? What am I afraid of? That's a tough one. There's the little things like snakes. I'm not really I'm not down with snakes. Snakes, spiders.
So who do you get to look in the crawl space then when you're checking out a listing?
No, I just gotta, again, just go for it, right?
So I mean, it sounds like a lot of the common fears, right? I mean, I remember when I was first starting my field training as a police officer, when I had to call people, right?
Right.
Calling is tough, even when you're like, maybe they really want to hear from you,
right?
Or you're a person in authority. Hi, this is Constable Parent at the RCMP.
Yeah.
But you're really scared the first few times, or maybe the first 100 times, or 1,000 times that you got to pick up that phone, and it sounds like that you reached out. You had a great mentor who put you through some training, some courses to get you to overcome a lot of those very common anxieties.
Yeah.
And then you try and you practice, and then now I'm sure it's just second nature to be making those types of cold calls. Or do you still find you gotta psych yourself out or write a little script? Or
I try. I have actually like a whole book of scripts, and I rarely use it, I actually do role play every week with a lady in my coaching program.
Well, people can tell.
That's the thing, and I've never been. And the same thing, I have a business meeting every week, and they say to prepare your infomercial. I wait until it gets right to the person next to me. Okay, I'll talk about this, stand up, and just go for it. And I don't know, I find that being ready just when people say, okay, what's similar to this interview, I was looking through all the questions and, I should write out responses for these. And I was just like, I just want it to be natural. I want people to know that this is, if you're going to ask me a question, you're going to get the honest answer.
Yeah, well, that's what this podcast is all about, is getting to know the real people who are in the club, right?
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have to flip the microphone around next time. And
I don't know. I don't think, people hear me talk all the time. I don't know if they want to hear any more about me, but hey, I'm game if you are. So Connor, a lot of people are thinking about getting into real estate, and they think, gee, I don't know if I want to join a networking group, with other investors, or should I just go by it myself? So what would you say to people who are asking themselves, is real estate investing for me?
I think, me personally, I think it's for everybody. I think it's essential in our environment, in our society, that you do invest in real estate to hedge against inflation, to build that equity for future purchases, or just have something that you're holding on to that is going to appreciate. It blows my mind when people don't see that it's an appreciating asset. Like, it's proven everywhere they appreciate it. I laughed on I think it was on, we were talking about the Kamloops for Rent page the other night, and I remember in that group somebody was saying, you're better off just to buy a motorhome and go around and live in that. And I guess there's lots of theories, and but for me, I think it's a great hedge against inflation, and to create that passive income. I think it's the only way to go.
Hedge against inflation. That's very wise. So how can people get a hold of you if they want to get on your list of hot deals?
Yeah, for sure.
Or maybe chat about doing joint ventures, or maybe you could act as their realtor. How do people get a hold of you?
Yeah, or even the market stats I always have on my Facebook page there. I know lots of people like those and go on Facebook Live. So Connor Shelton Real Estate on Facebook. Sellwithshelton.ca is my website. You can always give me a call, 250-377-5186. Shoot off an email, cshelton@remax.net. Or you can find me every month at the Real Estate Network Training Society meeting, last Thursday of every month at 6:30.
That's right, yeah, with all the latest stats. And we're very blessed to be in a nice real estate market here, and you're always bringing us good news, so good stuff. And Connor, I'll see you at the next rents meeting, or maybe for a beer, or maybe a workout would be better. Before then, I know I need to get back into it. So
same here.
Good stuff.
Awesome, thanks, Sam.
Thanks for the chat. Bye.
Bye.
Before we close the show, I just want to say that all the activities Rents undertakes, including this podcast, benefits our bursary program. We've given thousands in bursaries to post-secondary students in real estate-related fields of study. And in that light, I'm asking that wherever you're listening to this, please comment and let us know what you think, good or bad. You're also invited to our next meeting for free. You'll learn something new from one of our speakers and even have a chance to pitch your deal. Do you need cash? Are you looking for property to buy? Share what you're missing with the group and watch your business grow. At recent meetings, there was over $1,500 in finder's fees handed out just for providing a name and a number to someone who is selling a property. There's always at least $1 million in the room looking for the right opportunity, so this is your chance to pitch your deal. You never know where you're going to meet your next joint venture partner. If you're new to real estate investment, we want to hear from you too. You have unique talents and experiences that we can all benefit from, so please come share. You'll have the opportunity to learn the business and meet other like-minded people looking to make the world a better place. Remember that everything you want is in the hands of others, so come learn how to serve them. Lastly, we ask that you leave us a 5-star review. This will help others who need unbiased real estate education find us. To join us in person or online, please email info@rents.website. That's info@rents.website. See you next time.